Be ready to have your preconceived notions about friendship, loyalty, and the unholy triangle of rap royalty challenged by what you're about to hear. The so-called goat of boxing, Claressa Shields, recently went live. She was nearly on her knees in front of millions of people, her hands shaking and her eyes swollen with sorrow, pleading for forgiveness from Remy Ma. Here's the worst part, though. This has nothing to do with a backstage feud or some small-minded Instagram jab. No, Claressa was begging Remy to intervene and get Papoose out of jail. Now tell me, when did Claressa start negotiating Remy's hostage situation? When was the last time we saw a ring queen reduced to a helpless messenger pleading with the queen of rap herself for pity? And why would she broadcast her breakdown for the world to see, of all people? Supporters are referring to it as her career's most embarrassing fall. Insiders speculate that it wasn't solely Claressa's decision, but it was her final opportunity to preserve what little of her reputation she still had. This brings us to the actual query. Is the truth being revealed by Claressa Shields too explosive to remain a secret? Or has she simply penned the last chapter of her own demise? Keep an eye out. No knockout blow could save Claressa Shields, the unbeaten champion who built her entire enterprise on the reputation of being invincible. From being at the center of a digital storm, the belts are irrelevant. Put the Olympic golds out of your mind. Ignore the ostentatious Instagram flexes, featuring expensive rings and purses that are more expensive than some people's mortgages. Because now, none of that was important. When Claressa went live, millions of people watched her shaking face as she nearly collapsed under the weight of secrets that were never meant to be revealed. That was what mattered. This time, she wasn't trying to sell a fight. She has no intention of promoting another pay-per-view event. In a trash talk press conference, she wasn't stalking a rival fighter. No, this was Claressa raw in her most vulnerable and emotional state. The combatant was invisible to the world. A woman was spotted, pleading with Remy Ma of all people for forgiveness. Wait until you hear the explanation if you thought it was strange enough. Her pleading was not for herself. She was not pleading for pity. She was appealing on behalf of Rhee's longtime husband, Papoose. Following a scandal that has already been dubbed one of hip-hop's deadliest betrayals, the man is currently incarcerated. Consider it. Accused of something that insiders claim could permanently ruin not only his marriage but also the empire he and Remy built. Papoose, the man who spent decades positioning himself as the devoted husband, the steady rock by her side during her prison bids, and the quiet but firm presence in every Love and Hip Hop reunion episode, is now imprisoned. Remy made an effort to shield. Suddenly, Claressa, who is supposedly an outsider in this tumultuous hip-hop marriage, acts as the selected mediator in a perverse negotiation and throws herself into the crucible while crying in front of the cameras. Twitter was inundated by fans. Claressa is pleading with Remy. But why? Was there a Love and Hip Hop Boxing Edition episode that I missed? This wasn't humor. This wasn't entertainment. This was humiliation. And Claressa walked right into it. Others quipped, is Claressa attempting to be Remy's publicist now? Or did she lose a bet? Anonymous insiders apparently close to both just weeks before his arrest. Claressa had private conversations with Papoose, according to boxing circles and the New York hip-hop scene. If the messages were leaked, they would destroy any credibility she had left as a sports icon. According to one source, Papoose trusted her with details he couldn't tell Remy. And now Claressa's trapped, trying to clean up her own mess by pretending she's doing it for him. Another insider whispered that Remy had already seen those conversations. Which is why Claressa's livestream wasn't a random breakdown, but rather damage control. Let's go back. Remy Ma, the rap queen, who once pulled a gun on her own best friend over a money dispute, who served 6 years in prison for assault, and who built an entire legacy on being the realest in a world full of fake news, is a woman who once dragged herself into someone else's chaos. Remember that press conference in Vegas 2 years ago when she snapped at reporters accusing her of being involved in celebrity beefs that had nothing to do with boxing? Back then, she laughed it off, calling it clout-chasing rumors. Now, however, those same rumors don't seem so ridiculous. Fakes. This is the woman. Claressa believed she could plead for forgiveness from on a live stream with millions of viewers watching every tear, every sob, and every broken sentence. People don't beg Remy Ma. They fear her. That's why the internet went crazy and memes began to circulate right away, claiming that Claressa versus Remy would soon air on pay-per-view. People weren't laughing, but they smelled blood. If Claressa is pleading, it means she knows something we don't, and trust me, she does. Claressa's involvement suddenly didn't seem so random. Fans whispered that Papoose used Claressa's boxing connections to wash money through fight promotions. And some even conjectured that one of Claressa's biggest wins was staged just to funnel cash into a hidden Remy Papoose empire. It seemed plausible that Papoosia's arrest wasn't just about street drama or some fight gone wrong, but also that it was linked to money laundering, hush payments, and even covert investments in shady boxing promotions overseas. Undoubtedly, Claressa's tears were not only for Papoose, they were also for herself. She was aware that the rumors were coming and attempted to fend them off by posing as the frantic rescuer rather than the silent collaborator. But the damage had already been done. According to screenshots purportedly taken from private messages, Claressa told Papoose, I got you. Don't share everything with Remy. Let me take care of it. If accurate, just one message completely appends the story because Claressa no longer appears to be a compassionate friend. Fans didn't miss a beat as TikTok exploded with parody videos of Claressa shadowboxing her tears away remixed into drill beats. Twitter threads with titles like Claressa Shields from Gwat to Goof, and even boxing analysts, who are typically too professional to get involved in hip-hop drama, couldn't help but tweet, "Charlara crying online for Papoose." She appears to be the middle woman hiding secrets from Remy Ma. And if there's one person you don't want to hide secrets from, it's Remy. She has taken the most punches this year. Cruel, yet true. In the meanwhile, Remy Ma stayed silent. No tweets, no statements, no rebuttals, just silence. And that silence was louder than any diss track. Because if Remy wasn't saying anything, it meant she was planning something big. Fans conjectured about everything from explosive diss tracks to divorce, announcements to even leaked footage of Claressa and Papoose together at secret meets. The streets smelled of scandal, and Claressa's live stream had just added gasoline to the fire. It gets even darker. According to some so-called insiders, Claressa's live meltdown wasn't voluntary at all. She was coerced, even by people connected to Papoose's camp. The live stream suddenly looks more like a hostage video than a breakdown. According to an anonymous source who told an online gossip page that Claressa didn't want to go live because she was told that if she didn't beg, more receipts would drop receipts that would ruin her career both inside and outside the ring. Whether you believe that or not, one thing is certain. Claressa Shields has crossed a line that no number of championships can protect her from. She's no longer just the GWAT. She's the face of one of the most embarrassing public implosions in recent celebrity history. And just when you think things can't get worse, they do. Unless Claressa was more involved than we realize. Unless those tears weren't just about forgiveness. Unless those were tears of survival. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is precisely where this scandal begins to unravel into something far bigger than a live stream meltdown. That their connection ran deeper, messier, and far more dangerous than anyone wants to admit. Which leads us to the crucial question: why would a woman at the top of her sport risk everything to beg forgiveness for a man who isn't her husband? If the messages are real, then Claressa Shields hasn't. The so-called receipts came in because almost immediately after her live, screenshots started going viral, with shady Twitter accounts, gossip blogs, and encrypted Telegram groups claiming to have evidence linking Claressa to late-night hotel meets with Papoose in cities she supposedly only traveled to for training camps. She's tied herself to the downfall of Papoose and possibly the wrath of Remy Ma, which no one in the music industry has ever survived unscathed. Unless Claressa was hiding something so profound that her only choice was to break down in front of millions, sacrificing her pride to keep the bigger secret hidden. Training camps in Miami, but Papoosia's name appears in hotel registries in the same city. On the same night, and in the same level of a luxury suite. Coincidence or conspiracy? One particularly popular thread claimed that weeks before Papoose's arrest, Claressa had been seen sneaking out of a private dinner with him. The blurry photo showed a woman who looked suspiciously like Claressa, dressed down in sweats and a hoodie, walking just steps behind a man who was unmistakably Papoose. Claressa's camp promptly dismissed it as photoshopped lies. But the internet didn't care, and in fact, denial only fanned the flames because instead of fans mocking her meltdown, Remy Ma, the woman who is known for playing the long game, allegedly sat on these receipts until the time was right. When Papoose ended up behind bars when Claressa tried to save face, Ree's silence became her deadliest weapon. She didn't need to speak, she didn't need to clap back. And she let Claressa destroy herself on camera while fans assumed the worst. And trust me, when fans assume, they don't hold back. They started connecting, which painted an even darker picture. Anonymous sources claimed Remy already knew about these meets, but she remained silent for one reason: leverage. Creators of TikTok staged fictitious phone conversations in which Remy asks Claressa, "You thought you could play me. See how I manipulate you?" The internet smelled blood and it was feeding frenzy season. But the circus continued online as fake investigative reports began to surface, claiming that federal investigators were also looking into Claressa for her tears. Not for her live stream, but for her alleged role in money laundering schemes linked to Papoose's arrest. Even Instagram meme pages that typically only cover light celebrity drama joined the circus, photoshopping Claressa's crying face onto boxing posters with titles like "The Biggest Loss of Her Career." Perception is reality, and in this case, Claressa's reality was looking bleak. Allegedly leaked phone calls, including a distorted recording posted to YouTube purporting to be Claressa, and an unidentified male voice speculated to be Papoose discussing moving money overseas before Remy finds out, led to wild accusations that her team was being audited, that her sponsorships were being reviewed, and that one of her recent pay-per-view events was suspiciously overfunded by anonymous investors who, according to whispers, traced back to Papoose's network. The voice is scratchy, but fans didn't care. They listened to it millions of times, analyzing every word, every pause, every cough, trying to prove it was real. Whether it was real or not, the damage was irreparable because now Claressa wasn't just the crying boxer. She was possibly involved in a financial scandal that could ruin her legacy. And this is where the irony really hit home. Claressa's brand was built on being the greatest woman of all time and beaten, unshaken and unbreakable. But here she was, shattered by whispers, receipts, and silence. Without saying a word, fans dubbed Remy Ma's silence the ultimate diss track, a masterclass in revenge. And she was allegedly calculating, with lawyers, public relations specialists, and even music producers ready to turn this into her next big move. Imagine it. Remy releases a new song that subtly alludes to Claressa's betrayal and includes images of boxing rings and broken gloves, all while Papoose is still in jail. The storyline changes from humiliation to empowerment. The fans would gobble it up, but Claressa's boxing career started to falter. Sponsors began removing her advertisements. One fitness brand reportedly halted their campaign with her, citing reputational concerns. And journalists who had once hailed her as the future of women's boxing abruptly changed course, writing headlines like "From Champion to Controversy" and "The Fall of Claressa Shields." And, worst of all, every article quoted her live stream breakdown. Remy is depicted as the betrayed queen rising above, while Claressa is portrayed as the desperate outsider fighting for her life. Even though her face became the symbol of her downfall, some fans continued to defend her, claiming that she was being set up and that Remy had orchestrated the whole situation to divert attention from her own marital problems, and that Claressa was just a pawn in Remy and Papoose's collapsing empire. One viral TikTok even speculated that Remy had leaked Claressa's private messages in order to undermine her credibility. Could this be true? In the world of scandal, anything is possible, which is why this story was so compelling. Claressa attempted to regain control as the chaos grew, posting cryptic tweets like, "Loyalty is dead and the truth will set me free." But instead of receiving sympathy, she received backlash from fans who responded with clown and snake emojis and endless memes. Each attempt at redemption backfired, pulling her further into the scandal, and Remy remained silent the entire time. Her silence was deadly. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Anonymous documents, purportedly leaked from court filings, suggested that Claressa might actually be called as a witness in 9. Consider this scenario. Claressa Shields, the world champion, is in a courtroom, not as a fighter but as a potential key to Papoose's freedom or downfall. If that's the case, her live stream wasn't just a breakdown. It was a performance. A preemptive move to sway public opinion before she faces the ultimate spotlight, the witness stand, which leaves us with a chilling reality. Claressa Shields isn't just fighting for her career anymore. She's fighting for her freedom, her reputation, possibly her survival in a field where reputations die more quickly than careers. With Remy Ma holding the cards, Papoose in jail, and the internet circling, Claressa's next move could make all the difference, because if she testifies and reveals secrets, the dominoes will fall, and when they do, this scandal will be about more than just one live stream. It will be about the fall of an empire, the betrayal of trust, and the unraveling of one of the messiest love triangles that boxing and hip-hop have ever seen. As the whispers get louder, one question remains. Was Claressa really pleading for protection or forgiveness? Because in this game, survival is required and forgiveness is optional. We'll be watching. Instead of capturing her boxing stance, her lightning-fast jabs, or her championship belts, the cameras will record her voice breaking under pressure, her eyes darting to Remy Ma, and her words that could end Papoose's life. Just consider how twisted this has become. A boxing champion who became the star witness to a scandal no one saw coming. But this is where desperation leads. Claressa wanted to appear heroic, but in reality, she's entering the lion's den, where every response she makes could end her career. The prosecution allegedly wants her to divulge information about money transfers, dubious investors, and late-night meetings. That the catch is that if Claressa doesn't testify, it could be even worse because it makes her look guilty, complicit, and afraid of Remy Ma's wrath. In any case, she loses, and fans are saying that this isn't a legal battle anymore, but psychological warfare. If she admits even a small portion of what's whispered in those leaked receipts, she won't just expose Papoose, she expose herself. One slip of the tongue and she could be charged as an accessory. Imagine the humiliation of a two-time Olympic gold medalist reduced to nothing more than a cautionary tale in the tabloids. Imagine the headlines changing from champion to co-conspirator. That's what Claressa risks, and the vultures and the media can't wait to pounce. Meanwhile, the streets aren't remaining quiet either. Fake but viral videos appeared that purportedly showed Claressa's entourage arguing outside a courthouse, with alleged witnesses saying her team is split, with some urging her to sever all ties with Papoose, while others advised her to remain faithful and prove her innocence. A boxing promoter's direct message even said, "You're either against her or with Remy. No intermediate ground exists." Fans say Remy is allowing Claressa to dig her own grave by saying nothing, ensuring that every rumor, whisper, and meme spirals out of control without her lifting a finger. Some insiders even claim that CRIES legal. Team advised her to let Claressa implode publicly. That one line alone captures the nightmare Claressa is trapped in because neutrality doesn't exist in Remy's world. There are no tweets, diss tracks, interviews, or anything else. There are dark rumors that Claressa may not even make it to the witness stand, that she has already been threatened, that anonymous calls, cryptic messages, and even subtle warnings have been sent to her inner circle, and that one fake report claimed her car was mysteriously followed after training. Remy, on the other hand, leaves looking like the queen who never had to dirty her hands. Received anonymous donations with the message, "Stay quiet, but no contact information." Whether these are real or fabricated doesn't even matter, because perception is everything. And right now, Claressa looks like a fighter with nowhere to run. Sponsors are vanishing, fans are mocking, journalists are circling, and Remy Ma is silent. It's a recipe for total collapse. Even boxing commentators who used to hype her up as the future of the sport are distancing themselves. One well-known analyst even said on live TV, "Claressa is not fighting in the ring anymore. Every time she tries to defend herself, she loses." Cruel, but the world perceives it that way. The greatest irony of all is that Claressa Shields, who once boasted that no scandal, no drama, and no rival could ever defeat her, is now being undone, not by a right hook or a knockout blow, but by tears, whispers. And silent sand fans are calling this the biggest upset in boxing history, and it didn't even happen inside the ring. The real tragedy is how quickly her legacy is eroding. Children who once looked up to her as the GOAT are now scrolling through memes that mock her breakdown. And headlines that once celebrated her victories are now centered on her alleged betrayals. The story takes a dark turn here. According to some insiders, Claressa isn't just collateral damage. She's the scapegoat. Papoose, Remy, and their inner circle planned this entire collapse, knowing that if anyone had to take the fall, it would be Claressa, because she's an outsider and not part of their empire. She's a convenient shield, if you will, who can absorb the blows while they regroup. Champion of the people, internet joke, and unless she does something drastic, that's all she'll ever be remembered for. Is Claressa just the lamb used as a sacrifice in Remy Ma's grand scheme? After all, Remy doesn't lose anything by allowing Claressa to burn. Papoose has already lost his freedom, but his reputation was already in doubt. And Claressa had everything to lose: credibility, fans, and sponsors. So by linking her to the scandal, Remy maintains her innocence while the public destroys Claressa. The internet's reaction indicates that the plan is working flawlessly. Now, everyone is wondering what will happen next. Will Claressa testify and expose herself further? Or will she remain silent and allow her career to end? Or does she try the unimaginable turn against Remy and Papoose completely and reveal secrets that could blow the lid off everything? Because if she does that, if she dares to publicly cross Remy Ma, this scandal will be about survival, pure, raw. Ruthless survival in a world where secrets are weapons and reputations are currency. Rather than just Claressa shielding the boxer, the story's terrifying beauty is that it's no longer just about Claressa shielding the boxer. It's about Claressa Shields, the fallen queen and the pawn caught in a war she couldn't win. This isn't a scandal anymore. It's a countdown to the moment when Claressa Shields either fights the biggest battle of her life or becomes the biggest casualty in the history of hip-hop and boxing drama. And when that countdown hits zero, the truth won't just destroy careers. It will shatter legacies, ruin empires, and leave everyone wondering the same question. The next move could either bring her back to life or bury her forever. But one thing is certain, the entire world is watching. Claressa is unable to respond. Was she the victim, the villain, or the mastermind all along? In light of everything we've learned tonight, one thing is clear. Claressa Shields is fighting for her freedom, her reputation, and possibly her life, rather than in the boxing ring. The live stream, the tears, the betrayal whispers, Remy Ma's silence, and the ghost of Papoose's empire collapsing from behind bars all combine to create a picture that is more explosive than any title fight Claressa ever promoted. But what does that leave us with? Is Claressa the victim of Remy's vicious strategy, already sacrificed to defend an empire? The silence from Remy Ma speaks louder than 100 diss tracks. But silence doesn't erase the questions. Did she plan this? Did Papoose force Claressa into something she couldn't escape? Or is this just the unadulterated collapse of someone who believed she was untouchable? And the scariest question of all, what if the real truth hasn't even leaked yet? What if the receipts still locked away are darker than anything we've imagined? This story isn't over. It's just the beginning of a "here's where you come in." Do you think Claressa is a pawn, a player, Or the secret mastermind? Should Remy finally speak up? Or is letting Claressa burn the ultimate form of retaliation? The real investigation starts in the comments section, so please share your thoughts below. Make sure to subscribe to Gossip Spill Vibe. Turn on notifications. And stay tuned, because if you thought tonight's secrets were shocking, wait until the next wave hits. This is Gossip Spill Vibe signing.